Let me now introduce to you the panelists and moderator who will give you some ideas on really, again, how to choose the crypto wallet, but more importantly, the crypto wallet which is right for you. Please welcome to the stage Europe Business Development Manager at KuCoin, Dorian Vincileoni. We also have CMO at Ambire, Vanina Ivanova, who we've already seen on stage. Head of Blockchain at Nexo, Nikolay Angelov. We also have the Country Manager at Binance, Ilie Puscas. Co-founder and CEO of ZoidPay, I believe he's here, Eduard Oneci. That's right. We thought you weren't. And the founder, who gets a clap, but also the founder and CEO of PSB Angels, who is actually the moderator of this session, helpfully taking this forward. Please welcome Viktoria, Soltez.
Hi everyone, and thank you very much for joining us. I know it's 5 o'clock, but we have not finished all the interesting content that we want to share with you, and it's interesting to hear your opinions about, for me, a very obvious subject: how to choose your wallet. Now, I'm sitting here with my colleagues who are absolutely industry professionals, and it's interesting to see, for example, Vanina's point of view with a marketing specialist on how to actually pick your wallet, actually talking about your own products. And I would like to also encourage the audience to ask us some questions, to think about through the whole panel. How would you personally choose the wallet where you trust your digital assets, and what is the important parts for you? So maybe we can jump in. What do you think? What is the main problem now with the wallets, and how your products or your company can overcome that, and obviously, how to choose the best wallet. So maybe we can start with you.
Well, first of all, you don't need to choose a wallet. You just use Ambire wallet, and that's that. Thank you for coming to my comedy gig. Just joking, of course. The thing is, the problem with most existing EOA wallets, externally on account wallets, like MetaMask and the likes, is that they suck. They simply suck. They provide you bad UX. They do not do enough to communicate with you what are the actions that you're performing with your wallet. They don't do enough to protect you from yourself and from malicious players in the market. And I think there was a panel on scamming as well, so you probably know that there's a lot of those. The thing is, when choosing the wallet, that wallet in Web3 becomes your identity, like that becomes your Web3 version of your email address. So it's incredibly important to choose a wallet that is, first of all, easy to use. It's available cross-platform. It is secure enough for you to use, and it just makes you happy, I guess. Like is the case with Ambire wallet.
Well, Ilie, just please. Yeah. How can you represent Binance, which is the obvious choice for wallet, but still say a couple of words about it?
At Binance, we have the third-party custody wallet, which is of course the wallet that you have in the exchange. We have the Trust wallet, which is a hot wallet that's offered in your browser or in your phone application. And we recently have also like a partnership with an old wallet application, Ledger, that allows users to top up their Ledger accounts in the desktop Ledger view through Binance. So what we notice is that the user-friendly solution is the winner on most of the cases. That's
user experience is always a key.
Exactly.
Nikolay.
Okay, guys, I want to get a step back and involve the audience. So I'll ask a few questions if you can participate with us, because it's a panel, so everybody can participate. So how many of you have only a single wallet, right? Only a single wallet? Raise a hand. Almost nobody, like probably 10 people. How many of you have multiple wallets, like different? Okay, we can see the difference. So one more question: how many of you have different wallets for the reasons of like different wallets giving you different things, right? Different stuff? Okay, maybe half of the people that raise the hand. So in the end, like it currently makes sense to have different wallets for different things, right? You have different wallets for either to separate your security, right? Let's say you have your loyalty, you have your rare NFTs in some ledger, your main portfolio balance in some ledger somewhere stored, while your day-to-day trading activity requires some money that it's probably somewhere else where you interact every day and stuff like that. And when you come to a conference like this one, you cannot really showcase your NFTs and prove that they're yours without bringing your ledger, right? Which is a security problem in the end. So, so one of the ideas that we build and goes on top of what Vanina said is that in the end your wallet is your identity, your account, it's yourself, right? So you shouldn't have like 10 separate yourselves, how they say it. So in the end, like there is technology that allows you to have a single wallet that gives you everything, but in the end it's controlled by multiple wallets, so you can still have your 10 different wallets, keep your security, but you can control your identity and showcase to the people even here with your normal day-to-day wallet that you actually own the NFTs, that you actually have this big portfolio. Right?
Eduard, what are the challenges that you work on with your products?
Yeah, this question actually relates a lot to the previous panel about Web3. And I think we're so early in the game that the quote that came before applies here. So if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Our approach at ZoidPay for this is actually we started to learn a lot about traditional finance. So as long as the field is already vetted and it works for such a long period of time, we said, why not start with buying a bank? So we are acquiring a brick and mortar bank, and we do this why? Because it relates also to the bridging Web 2, 2.5 and Web 3. So we said, why not acquire a brick and mortar bank, change the whole flows into Web 3 flows, have a Web 3 infrastructure. We've discussed with the regulators. For 3 years only on the regulatory side. We did this. We have a super app. I think this is it's very hyped too, and it's everybody says super app when it's about Web3. So we connected the two, and we see assets as something which shouldn't be split into crypto or fiat. So you have everything in one place. You have your crypto there, you have your fiat there, you have your deposit accounts, you have TradFi, you have DeFi, and you can also plug in your already existing bank accounts. So you can add your Romanian bank accounts, European bank accounts there. So to have it all in one place. We started with this. This is part of the customer development journey we had with our users.
Dorian?
Okay. So to start with, I would say that that's a question that's pretty personal, so there will be a lot of personal points of views. You might find yourself at odds with things that we will say and so on. Depending on your level of understanding, technical knowledge, etc., we might say things that stick to the basics, but maybe we'll try to get deeper and deeper as the discussion unfolds. So first, I would say to choose a wallet, you have to know a bit about yourself, what type of investor you are, and you can be different types of investors at the same time. Meaning that if you have assets that you're comfortable with, like keeping for a decade or even longer, I would not imagine going for anything else but non-custodial, especially since all the information, all the black swan events that we've seen unfold this year and the previous year. So yeah, that would be, for example, if you're this type of investors who's only aiming at the long term, like definitely non-custodial, cold wallet where your private key never was shown anywhere on the internet is the way to go. Then let's say you're this type of investor who is trading a lot or who is trying smart contracts because you want to be on edge with what is being done, like the latest innovations and so on. Then you will need a hot wallet, definitely, in terms of managing your fees, managing the speed at which you can actually buy and sell some tokens, etc.
in this case, having a custodial wallet is not something that's out of mind. It's a type of use case where it's actually sensible to have it. You can also have, for example, in this case with the hot wallets, you can have more or less used wallets, meaning that you can have wallets dedicated to just trying smart contracts. You can have wallets dedicated to trading certain types of assets. You can use wallets that are specific to certain assets because these companies, these projects develop their own wallet and you want to be native to the project. I'm thinking about Ton right now, for example. They have their own wallet and you can, like if you want to trade some Ton, you might want to go there because it's like the place where it will be the most handy to go and do it and so on. So in the end, you have to know more about yourself than what we're speaking of to start with as a starting point. Then I would say, if security is and it should be, security is a concern for you, and it should be, especially if you're a new investor, because what we've seen, for example, for a long time as crypto exchanges, and I'm sure is the case also at Binance, is that ease of use primes security in many cases, which should not be the case, but it is in fact. So you should look at, for example, if you're going custodial, you should look at some custodial that's allowing for double authentication. That's like first and foremost. If there is not double authentication factor, that's not safe enough, definitely. Then what could we add? Like having a multi-sig wallet, having your custodial taking your assets in cold storage should also be a must, because then you know that you can rely on it to be safer than if your custodial keeps all the assets on hot wallets. And at KuCoin, that's actually what we do. We keep most of the assets of our users in cold wallets with multi-sig, etc. So you know that they are never actually on the internet, whatever. Also, yeah.
It was very interesting what you touched point on the different purpose for different wallets for different purposes. Because I'm a payment consulting company, so I usually tell my clients, spread your risk, open multiple wallets, accounts, and don't trust all your assets in one provider. What are your thoughts about that? That obviously you try to represent the best wallet in your efforts. Obviously, you're trying to come up with the best solution. What do you think about it? That if your clients are obviously want to keep their assets in multiple ways, what are your thoughts about it? Maybe.
I think that's a good choice, but it's really hard to organize. And for cold wallets, for example, we hear a lot that expression, not your wallet, not your coins. However, the biggest horror stories in crypto are related to millions of dollars lost because you lost your passwords, you lost your physical old wallet. So there needs to be a solution for that in some way or another. We need to simplify the life of the users so they can keep their assets in a cold wallet as well, but in a way that's easier for them.
If you just allow me to make an analogy with real non-Web3 life. I'm based in Sofia, Bulgaria most of the time. I travel a lot in Europe. So I'm transacting in Bulgarian leva and in euro. Right now I'm in Romania, where we have the Romanian lei. I don't have a separate wallet for all of those currencies. Like, you wouldn't think of having, oh, this is my wallet for my euros, and that's my wallet for my dollars, and that's my wallet for whatever, Chinese yuan. You don't have that with TradFi. Why would you have that with crypto? Like, why would you have a different wallet, again, just to build up on what Nikki said?
Well, maybe it's a problem that we don't have it in fiat.
Yeah, but don't you want to keep your NFTs in a different wallet than your Bitcoin in a different wallet than your euro, and you pay your suppliers from the company's account? It's a different account, and everything gets in the mesh. And what you mentioned, that obviously you're merging everything into one, which is great, but what are the part of the securities which are affecting in this way, that everything is in the same place, but you use different wallets and different accounts for different purposes, right?
Yep. So for us, it's funny because the crypto wallet is non-custodial. So even though you have the fiat side, with KYC, with AML, with everything related to that, the crypto wallet is non-custodial because not your key is not your crypto. So yeah, I mean there's a huge clutter of personas. So you have the people that like to spend a lot of time with degen farms, with this and that. You have the ones that want to do on and off ramping rapidly and want to have the lowest possible fees and want to have liquidity for their crypto assets. You have the ones that actually prefer the safety of a fiat wallet, but knowing that they have crypto also there. So in the customer journey and in defining the personas, we started with 2 personas and now we have 50. So it is interesting.
To answer Vanina's question, in order for mass adoption to happen, similarities need to happen between the traditional finance and the new finance, crypto. And a bank accounts, you have one entity that you work with, but you have multiple bank accounts for your currencies, actually. And that's why in crypto, third-party wallets, actually the ones at Binance, at other exchanges as well, are the ones easier to understand for the customers at the moment.
I understand that, but if you think about the bank accounts example, you're keeping all of those bank accounts in the same bank, and in that example, the bank would be the wallet. So you're still using a single or like maybe a couple of banks. What I'm saying is not that people should not be using different wallets, but what I'm saying is that as consumers, we should be demanding more unification, and as builders, we should be providing that unification, and we should be providing wallets and tools that are as versatile as they can be for that mass adoption to happen.
Nikolay, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I can build on the things that said. I'll start with the security and the purpose, right? So in the end, like on most of the conference, everywhere you go, like people will freak out about security, even though that we don't live in a safe, super safe world, right? We take risks every day. So in the end, what we said on the first question, you need to understand who you are, what are you going to do with these wallets, what you're going to, what are the risks that you're going to take. It's again trade-off. So don't get me wrong, security is important, but we shouldn't be super mega freaky about it because in the end we take chances every day, right, everywhere. And on what the other point was about the multiple accounts and stuff, yeah, probably technologically behind the scene it needs to be different accounts, different entities, different stuff, but the users shouldn't understand that, right? They should have one interface that is nice for them, that is personalized for them. Like we live in a world where people can personalize everything, right? So why don't you personalize your wallet that represent you? So they shouldn't understand that behind there's 50 wallets or 1 million wallets or whatever technology. And currently we are a bit stuck in showcasing the technology a bit too much, and in my opinion it's slowing down the, how do you say, the... Sorry? Adoption. Yeah, adoption.
And yeah, to continue with what you were saying, it's absolutely true. You have to be honest with yourself. Like, if you want certain types of products or certain types of services, you might lose on the other end. Meaning, like, for example, you're using KuCoin as a custodial for your assets, then you have to KYC if you have a certain amount of assets, etc. You're losing on privacy. And your transactions, well, some people might have access to it on a longer run or whatever. This is how it works, you KYC. If you're using, for example, KuCoin wallet, where you are not custodial and you are the only guarantor of your own assets all the time, the only responsible one, your keys, your crypto, then you don't have to KYC and you keep your privacy. But the truth is that you cannot have both at the same time, at least not for now. So, like...
I mean, you can always have a self-custodial wallet that you connect to the exchange.
Yeah, you can
I know
also.
it doesn't work this way right now, but technically it is possible, and that's the way it should be done. The way you connect to a DEX and you transact with your own crypto from your own wallet, and the crypto doesn't leave your self-custody. That's the way it should be with centralized exchanges.
Well, actually, that's a solution that we're working on. I think it's probably a topic that also is the case with our competitors, like how to integrate more decentralized products in our centralized offer, and definitely like having these more hybrid offers where we can imagine like keeping your own assets under your own custody by finding solutions, for example, with settlements that come a little later or whatever, and you keep your assets in your own custody while trading and still having access to the trading resources of a centralized exchange. This is things that we are working on right now, but technically speaking, it's very complicated. I'm really not expecting a breakthrough in the coming weeks or whatsoever, but these are new questions that need to be addressed because of all the black swan events that we've witnessed in the last year.
That's correct. And I encouraged you at the beginning of the panel to think about all those questions that you would like to ask the industry expert colleagues. So we are down to the last 5 minutes. Please shoot us with the questions that you might have about the wallet issues.
Just pop up your hand and we'll come around with the microphone.
IW is so good that we replied all the questions
They're
already.
just happy. They're just happy with what they've got.
Right?
I'm sure there is somebody who's curious, or maybe you'd like to challenge somebody on the panel.
I think I'm going to just drop the bombshell and just ask my panelists about regulation and KYC. So maybe I'll just leave it out there. What do you think about the onboarding process, the hurdles, about the KYC procedure, and the ease of the onboarding when it comes to regulation? So I know we can talk about this for ages, but maybe you can just comment in 2-3 sentences. How does it affect you, and what is your solution on that?
The current onboarding process is horrendous. Like, honestly. You sign up for TikTok in 10 seconds, you sign up for any Web2 product in 2 seconds, and then you're supposed to go through an onboarding process of generating a C phrase, writing it down, remembering where you keep a piece of paper, making sure your housekeeper doesn't throw it away, etc., etc. And that's an average of 15 minutes. And if you already know what a seed phrase is, you don't have to go and Google, why do I need to do that? In the age where we've been telling our parents and everyone we know, don't write anything, no passwords on pieces of paper, don't put it on post-it notes on our keyboard. And then all of a sudden we're oh yeah, just write it down, put it on a piece of paper. It's ridiculous, it's just counterintuitive. So we need to streamline that and make it easy and simple for people. And thank God for account abstraction, because it's here to stay, and that allows us to streamline that process.
That's right. If it acts like money, used like money, it should be regulated like money, right? Eventually.
So to build up on the KYC and regulations, we might be the community might be against them, but in the end they're currently maybe a very good thing, just because in the end of the day we are out here trying to build something good, right? We want to build the next financial system, to change the financial system and stuff like that. And this thing to become global and to actually be adopted and actually change the world, it needs to be in a better place, and it might be and probably is very easy to slip in the wrong direction. That's why this stuff like KYC regulations, the stuff that are done if they are done in correct way, are actually for me personally helpful to guide us and to try not to slip on the bad side. After we build this thing, we understand it better with every day. Then we will adjust to see how the onboarding can go better and better.
Usually regulation stands in, prohibits innovation to happen. So it's our job as builders to create an onboarding process that makes you feel satisfied when you talk about KYC, after you onboard the platform, because usually you feel guilty. It's like you did something wrong. After you complete all of those things, it's like, what just happened? You don't have that feeling of joy. Yeah, I onboarded. It's really bad usually.
It's frustrating.
And this needs to change.
It's still similar with the traditional finance though. And this regulation in the end will help mass adoption. Because
Definitely.
users will, traditional users will get more trust in the system, and mass adoption will happen easier.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like the best thing about decentralized technology is that it's not regulated, and the worst thing about decentralized technology is that it's not regulated. Regulation is not all bad. It can protect the user under the right circumstances. The one thing that I am a little bit concerned about, though, in Web3 is that regulators lack the technical knowledge and they're lagging behind. Like I'm looking at the people designing the MiCA regulation in the EU, they're so far behind. It's scary. And by the time they reach the level where we are today, we will have invented a whole new technology layer that they will still need to catch up with.
And don't forget that we are the industry experts, so it's our reputation and our responsibility as well to educate all the users and create better platforms, easier onboarding, and better products. So thank you so much for everyone who is listening to us. I hope next time you're going to collect more questions for the next panels. But thank you so much, and thank you very much for my colleagues as well.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for all our panelists and Viktoria, our moderator.